To comma or not to comma? That is the question. When do you use a comma and when do you not? In a previous video, I shared with you 8 basic uses for a comma. If you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend you do so. And in this video, I want to share with you when not to use a comma. Hello, I'm Teresa, a freelance proofreader from Companions on the Journey Proofreading. Welcome to my channel. If this is the type of content you enjoy, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified each time a new video is posted. I also invite you to download a complimentary copy of the punctuation PDF that I've created. It gives simple explanations of the 15 punctuation marks needed for effective communication. Look for the download link in the comments below. Before I share with you the 9 instances of when not to use a comma, I want to explain that just throwing commas in wherever they look good or whenever you take a breath is wrong. Simply stated, that puts commas where there shouldn't be commas, which leads to confusion in your reader's mind, which leads to miscommunication and misunderstandings. Remember, clear communication is effective communication. Now, let's take a look at the 9 instances of when not to use a comma. Number 1, a comma should not be used to combine 2 independent clauses that have a missing coordinating conjunction. That's the key, the missing conjunction. If you were to place a comma there, you would create what's called a comma splice. You do have some options to use instead of a comma. You can use a semicolon if the 2 clauses are closely related. An example would be, let's go out to dinner tonight, semicolon, we can celebrate your promotion. You can also use a colon between the 2 independent clauses if the second clause explains, expands, or illustrates the first clause. An example of this would be, you have only one task today, colon, study for your exam. And finally, you could simply place a period at the end of the first independent clause and have each clause stand as its own sentence. An example of this would be, Stanley walked into the church, period. He knelt at the altar to pray, period. Number 2, a comma should not be used between the subject and predicate of the sentence, even when the subject seems to be a bit long. An example of this would be, the red-headed man in the blue tank top and shorts ran the race in record time. And that leads directly into number 3, which is, a comma should not be used to set off information that is necessary for your reader to understand the meaning of your sentence. An example of this would be, a training that he shares with every one of his business recruits is an introduction to attraction marketing. Notice that every single part of that subject is essential for your reader to understand what it is he shares with his business recruits. Number 4, a comma should not be used between compound subjects, compound objects, or compound verbs or verb phrases. Here's an example for each. Compound subjects. Courtney and Monica are physical fitness trainers at the gym next door. Compound objects. We love to visit churches and museums when we travel. Compound verbs or verb phrases. Antonio ordered the tickets and arranged for a driver to and from the show. Number 5. A comma should not be used between a verb and its object or complement. For instance, Tommy gave his girl some roses. Number 6, a comma should not be used between items in a list when the list is written in vertical fashion, also known as bullet points. An example of a bulleted list might be items needed for a camping trip, bullet tent, bullet sleeping bags, bullet pillows, bullet fishing poles, bullet camping stove, bullet food. Number 7, a comma should not be used to separate items in a list of 3 or more when those items are already separated by the coordinating conjunctions and or. An example of this would be, Cindy loves to eat strawberries and raspberries and blueberries. And that leads directly into number 8, which is, a comma should not be used in front of the coordinating conjunction or unless that or is joining 2 independent clauses. An example of or without the comma would be, would you rather eat cantaloupe or watermelon? And finally, number 9, a comma should not be used between an independent clause and a dependent clause when the independent clause comes first in the sentence. An example of this would be, Michael reads over his case files every morning before he goes to work. There you go, the 9 instances of when not to use a comma. I hope that this information will help you to write more clearly and effectively from this moment forward. And if you know that this information will help another writer you know, please share this video with them. Thank you for watching. Before you go, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell in order to be notified when new videos are posted. And friendly reminder, there is a link in the comments below to download a complimentary PDF explaining the 15 punctuation marks needed for effective communication. Coming soon, I will be sharing some grammar rules around one or more of those punctuation marks, so be sure to stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video.